Today on Rappler. In a historic vote, the House of Representatives passes the Reproductive Health Bill on second reading. More than a week later, the death toll from Typhoon Pablo climbs to more than 900. And Japan deploys fighter jets after a Chinese plane is spotted over islands claimed by both countries. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. Despite intense pressure from the Catholic Church, reproductive health bill advocates win a crucial vote early Thursday. The controversial measure is now a step closer to becoming a law. Carmela Fonbuena reports.
Affirmative 113, negative 104, abstention 3. House Bill 4244 is approved on second reading.
I thought that I would be emotionless after all of this struggle, but I'm so elated that finally we won.
In a historic vote that lasted 5 hours, the House of Representatives approves the Reproductive Health Bill on second reading, the most difficult stage of the legislative process.
That I am not against life. I am against ignorance. I vote yes to the RH bill.
The 14-year-old advocacy to provide RH services, including free contraceptives to the poor, is now a step away from final approval in the House. The vote happens 9 days after President Aquino called the House members to Malacanang and told them he wants the RH bill passed. It was a difficult road to victory, a war inside and outside Congress.
Reproductive Health Bill!
The Catholic Church and its allies in the House stood their ground against the bill.
Manny Pacquiao is pro-life. Manny Pacquiao is votes no to House Bill number 4244.
And in spite of Aquino's strong push, it's a close vote, a victory by only 9 votes. The showdown continues until the final vote, expected to happen on the third week of December.
Imagine 9 votes lang, and all the arsenal of government were here.
Third reading is going to be easy.
The first attempt will be on Monday.
Yes, but do you predict it will reflect the vote today or
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
what surprises can we expect?
I do not know because you have to expect na mas magiging intense lahat ng labi nito.
The Senate too will vote on the measure on the same week.
I am also excited that we will have the opportunity to duplicate this success and this joy that many of the women, many of those who've been fighting for RH have felt today. We'll replicate it on Monday.
It's the big make or break week for RH bill, one that pits the country's president against the powerful Catholic Church. No camp can claim victory yet. Carmela Fonbuena, Rappler, Manila.
26 members of the Liberal Party vote against the Reproductive Health Bill, despite President Benigno Aquino's support for the controversial measure. 43 LP members vote to pass the bill on second reading. Aquino pushed the bill to provide reproductive health services, including free contraceptives to the poor. Short of imposing a party stand, LP President Mar Rojas issued a statement Tuesday that said the LP leadership urged its members to vote for the bill. Among those who voted against the RH bill was Zamboanga City Representative Maria Isabel Climaco. Climaco says the Magna Carta for women already protects women and children. Social media buzzes with activity early Thursday as the lower house votes on the reproductive health bill. Pro-RH politicians celebrate on Twitter. Former Akbayan Party List Representative Risa Ontiveros tweets, "A night of tears, of joy, and roses. This is our night. This is our morning." RH bill principal sponsor Pia Cayetano says, "Delayed posting because I ran to Representative Lagman to hug him and was jumping up and down." Anti-RH Cavite Representative Lani Revilla thanks the people present in the gallery and adds, "We still need your prayers. This is just for the second reading." Social media users also weigh in on the vote. Anti-RH Licars Carlos tweets, "To control poverty, give jobs to poor people. If they have work, they'll be busy and eventually will stop making babies." Pro-RH Leslie Gapak says the passing of the RH bill on the second reading just proves that the church can no longer rule over the state. The death toll from Typhoon Pablo reaches 902 more than a week after the storm hit Mindanao. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council also reports the number of missing people is down to 635. The agency adds 296 fishermen from 6 different fishing companies have been rescued. But fishermen's groups in General Santos City dispute the number of rescued fishermen. Dina Barrientos of the Umbrella Fish Landing Association says only 6 of the 310 originally declared missing are found. On Wednesday, the Interior Department says it's finalizing an order mandating local government units to use part of their calamity funds to provinces struck by the typhoon. Former Thai Prime Minister Abhisit Vejjajiva is charged with murder on Thursday over a civilian's death during a crackdown on anti-government rallies 2 years ago. Bangkok's Department of Special Investigation formally charges Abhisit and his then-deputy Sutep Togsuban, making them the first officials to face a court over Thailand's worst political violence in decades. About 90 people died and nearly 1,900 were wounded in a series of street clashes between red-shirt demonstrators and security forces. It ended in a deadly army operation in May 2010 to break up the protest. Japan deploys fighter jets on Thursday after one Chinese state-owned airplane enters airspace over islands at the center of a dispute between Tokyo and Beijing. Japan mobilizes F-15 jets after a Chinese maritime aircraft ventures over the Senkaku Islands, which China calls the Diaoyus. Chinese government ships have moved in and out of the waters around the islands for more than 2 months, but this is the first time since this dispute flared that Tokyo claimed any airborne incursion into what it claims is Japanese territory. A nurse duped by a prank call to the London hospital treating Prince William's pregnant wife Catherine was found hanging in her room, according to an inquest. Jacinta Saldana, 46, had injuries on her wrist and also left 3 notes before she died last week. She answered a prank call to the hospital made by Australian radio presenters asking about the Duchess's condition, who suffered from acute morning sickness. Australia's media watchdog opens an investigation into the prank call Thursday. Well, let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 4, after his devastating loss to Mexican Juan Manuel Marquez this weekend, Manny Pacquiao drops from number 2 to number 7 in pound-for-pound rankings globally of world-class boxers in The Ring magazine. Its list is considered the most accurate and prestigious in boxing. Marquez moved up from number 6 to number 3, with Filipino fighter Nonito Donaire at number 6, a notch ahead of his idol Pacquiao. At number 6, a day after U.S. President Barack Obama recognizes the rebels in Syria, U.S. officials announced President Bashar al-Assad's forces are firing ballistic missiles at rebel fighters. A civil war that's been raging for nearly 2 years seems to be shifting as the insurgency gains momentum. More than 40,000 people have been killed, according to human rights activists. At number 8, it's been a difficult transition for Egypt, and now the December 15th vote called by President Mohamed Morsi is becoming a major test for its budding democracy. The original vote to ratify a new constitution will be split into 2. After 2 weeks of often violent protests, main opposition National Salvation Front announces it would campaign for no votes instead of boycotting, although it might still call for a last-minute boycott if several conditions aren't met by Saturday morning. And at number 9, the FBI announces Facebook helped in the takedown of an international crime ring that cost online users more than $850 million. 10 people were arrested from Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, the Republic of Macedonia, New Zealand, Peru, the United Kingdom, and the United States. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Google releases the long-awaited Google Maps app for the iPhone and says the app is rolling out worldwide. The Verge reports majority of the app's features like traffic, turn-by-turn navigation, Street View, and others are all there. Gizmodo adds Google will also be coming out with a Google Maps SDK for iOS and a URL scheme to get third-party applications to launch the Google Maps app. It's a welcome development, especially after the Australian police on Monday rescued people left stranded in the wilderness by following directions from the Apple Maps app. Every story on Rappler has its own mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel, and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page, which crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that have gotten the most number of clicks. If we take a look today, it's clear the top stories, well, you just heard the Ascals bow out of the Suzuki Cup finals, 89% sad. Pacquiao himself has come back, gets standing ovation in the RH vote. He voted late last night. So this one's interesting, 68% annoyed, 12% happy. That goes to the story that has gotten the most number of votes on the mood meter. Top story of the day, RH bill hurdles the second reading in the House. 90% happy, pushing the mood of the day. Today, most people are happy. Well, Rappler continues to live stream this week 10 short stories on 10 human rights issues. That's Alab 2012, Stories of Truth and Projections. We show 2 short stories every day after the Rappler Newscast all week. It started Monday, December 10 and will last until Friday, December 14th.
Kita bitaw ko grupo sa Cebu na mo support.
She learned about our group through our website and then she called me.
Well, that's Rappler's Newscast for today, Thursday, December 13th, 2012. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.